Now, lately, heavily shorted stocks have sort of drifted a little bit lower, especially some of these retail investor names. As you can see by today's action in AMC and GameStop, that's starting to change. Short interest for certain names, they've begun to edge a little bit higher. By the way, if you want these short positions to go higher because you want someone to squeeze, and the more compelling short names are really starting to do pretty well. Is that companies do learn how to adapt, they learn how to stay alive, and then they learn how to thrive. Now, of course, nothing is guaranteed, and these sort of ideas do carry a higher degree of risk. By the same token, I've said it before, I'll say it again, the so-called smart money, what they do is not guaranteed to always be right either. So what I'm reminded, and what really inspires me with the investing apes, is that you guys have taken control of your lives. You want to change your life. So I say, you know what, find your own way, chart a new path, break the unfair rules, live and learn, but never, never give up on the stock market.
So that clip was from the OG ape, Charles Payne, back on August 24th, 2021, just about 10 months ago. And as you can see, the closing price of AMC that day was $42.75. GameStop was just about $200. Now, we are not those prices right now. But Charles made an excellent point as far as if we want this thing to squeeze, the more shorts, the better. And we have now added on 10 more months of short positions. Now, have they closed some of those? Of course. Only time will tell, really, how big this thing can get. And I put the June 3rd executive order on the thumbnail. I want to get into that tonight and talk about what happens if nothing happens on June 3rd. I want to get into the quantitative tightening that we're going to see coming on June 1st. The Fed's going to try to shrink its balance sheet. What does that mean for the market and for AMC? And if we have time, I want to touch on the YouTuber Chris Norland. Apparently, he's a big AMC hater, taking short positions left and right. So we're going to get into that if we have time. But before we get way too far ahead of ourselves,
chew the speeder.
This is the way.
Good evening, beautiful people. Guys, what's going on? It is Saturday, May 28th, 2022. And real quick, before we get into tonight's subject matter, just want to let you know, last video I put up got about 1.6 thousand views. Now, 1.3 thousand of you have on the alarm bell so that you get notified when a new video comes up. And according to the analytics of YouTube, we're getting about 90% of subscriber watch time, which means that YouTube's algorithm is not putting my videos out to anyone. I don't know why that's happening. I don't know why I am being shadow banned like that. I have my suspicions, but if you really want to help out the channel and make sure you get all of the videos, turn on the notification. It's free. Hit the like button. It's free. Share the video. It's free. And all those things help the channel out and help me out immensely. All right, now that that's out of the way, we can get into how I blew the call on Thursday night and was totally wrong about the price action for Friday. Some of you had asked in the chat what I thought. I assumed we would see some type of sell-off right before a holiday weekend on a Friday. That's been the situation normally, but boy, was I glad to be wrong. AMC finished up the day up 18%, closing the day at 14.43, then up in after hours, 14.61. GME followed suit. They kind of flip-flopped in the last 24 hours. GME closed up 137.21, up about 7 percentage points, $9. I want to touch on June 1st and what's going on with the Fed really quickly before we get into the June 3rd executive order. They're both coming up this week, and they both might play a vital role as far as what the future holds for AMC and GME. So this is Mohammed Al-Arain, and he is talking about the Fed's plan and where we might end up in the next couple weeks. Watch.
I think at best, the feasible set is what Chair Powell called a soft-ish landing. And the ish is really important. I think the time has passed for a soft landing. We could have done it, but that would have implied the Fed moving 9 months ago. It should have, it didn't. So instead of tightening into a growing and dynamic economy, it is tightening into a slowing economy. So it is very difficult to get a soft landing. So the best you can hope for right now is a softish landing. What's the probability of that happening? Not as high as I would like it to be. I think the Fed is going to have to decide between two policy mistakes: hit the brakes too hard and risk a recession, or tap the brakes in a stop-go pattern, including pause in September would be an example of that, and risk having inflation well into 2023.
So we know that that transitory term has been dropped now. It became kind of a running joke for a while, but I place 100% of the blame on the Federal Reserve for the inflation we're experiencing right now. They knew this was going to be an issue, but because all of the mainstream media is completely in the pocket of the administration, no one is pushing the envelope, questioning these people, putting their feet to the fire. They partied really hard with our money, and now we are seeing the effects. Don't be fooled. This is not a Putin problem. This is a Biden problem.
The U.S. government is expanding its blacklist of firms suspected to be tied to Chinese military or surveillance technology. On Thursday, President Joe Biden signed an executive order to add 59 companies. Americans were already banned from investing in 31 firms, including Huawei. The order, which comes into effect on August 2nd, is part of efforts to stop U.S. capital from being used by Beijing to undermine national security. Investors have 12 months to divest their current shares. After that point, they can no longer sell their holdings without U.S. Treasury approval. Beijing criticized the decision, calling the move an act of suppressing Chinese companies.
Now, if I'm being honest, I have not seen this much hype and speculation and excitement about the MOASS probably in a year. I know there's a lot of anticipation and people are hanging a lot on next week. And I want to talk about what happens if for some reason we don't start to squeeze next week. I know the setup right now looks perfect. Everything looks great. But let's talk about this for just a brief moment and then I'll let you go. 13959 executive order is from November 12, 2020. It was signed under the Biden administration. Remember, we were in the throes of the pandemic then. At that time, AMC was warning that bankruptcy was on the table as cash runs low. Now we know they got helped out first by institutions, and then we jumped in and gave them another $2 billion for the war chest to play with, saving AMC, right? Now, why is there so much hype about this executive order? And to put it really basic, and I'm going to use this Reddit post because it's written out nice and simple. On November 2020, Trump signed the executive order banning 30 Chinese military companies for January 28th of 2021. And we know what happened on January 27th of 2021. Then the order was amended. 13959 was amended to May 27th of 2021. This gave all the collateral of those Chinese stocks back to the funds again. So now they have all this money again to put towards their bottom line. What happened on May 27th? The amended executive order once again took away collateral from the market makers, banks, and prime brokers. And the theory is it caused them to be margin called and buy into their short positions as they had no collateral required to maintain their margin, leading AMC to run again and hitting an all-time high on June 2nd, 2021. So what is the difference this time around? Because here we are 365 days later. The biggest difference this time around, in my opinion, is the evaluations on AMC and GME, the fundamentals behind the companies themselves. This article here from Investor Place from yesterday says earnings beat does not justify AMC stock valuation. Weird, because we had our earnings like 3 weeks ago, right? But here's this article coming out talking about how this analyst, Alicia Reese, has slashed her price target from $4 to $5. AMC's cryptocurrency launch will ultimately add gasoline to this already burning fire or possibly help pay off the debt. And the article finishes up by saying MKM Partners analyst Eric Handler is a little more bullish on AMC stock. He believes the movie slate for the remainder of the year is strong, bring people into theaters. Other initiatives such as off-premise popcorn will help boost the top line. However, he remains skeptical of the valuation of $4 and maintains a sell rating with a $1 stock price target. Interesting. It talks about Doctor Strange and Batman doing very well. We know right now Top Gun is doing amazing. It's $150 million Memorial Day opening, best ever for Tom Cruise. Then on Thursday, we have GME's shareholder meeting. That will be on June 2nd. On the docket for that meeting is going to be the potential for GME stock to split and possibly create a dividend. So on June 1st, we have quantitative tightening, which we've known about for a while, like we've said. June 2nd is going to be the GME shareholders meeting. And June 3rd is when the executive order should lapse. So we could see big things next week. I'll leave you with this. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. And if by some chance one of these 3 dates happens to set off a chain reaction, and we see the dominoes start to tumble, and we see the price action start to head towards a MOASS, then we will be pleasantly surprised and know that we are close to the end of this journey together. All right, guys, we're going to stop it there for tonight. It's getting extremely late. I don't have time to go into Chris Norland in his short position. We'll have to deal with that tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we're going to be going live around 9 o'clock. I already checked in with Tony about that. We're good to go. So, until tomorrow, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Memorial Day weekend. As always, guys, thank you for all the likes, the views, the comments, my new subscribers, my OGs. I appreciate each and every one of you. We are here to break the wheel. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.